Sometimes patience is rewarded. RiME was on my radar from all the way back at Gamescom in 2013. The initial reveal trailer showed a game that looked immediately like something I'd be interested in, and it was a PlayStation exclusive. Sony even funded its development back then. From there, it evidently went through development hell. Eventually, Sony pulled the plug and the game needed to secure funding elsewhere, but because of that, it would now release on other platforms. RiME didn't hit the market until May 2017 on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC, 4 years after it was announced. Prior to release, Tequila Works, the developer, announced that there would be a Switch port of the game, and that it would come shortly after the other console versions. Keep in mind, this is near the launch of the Switch, so a delay was understandable. So, when RiME finally released, it was met with mostly positive reviews and garnered an 82 on Metacritic. I resisted the urge to play the game on other platforms because, for one, I was still knee-deep in Zelda Breath of the Wild and very much enjoying myself. Second, the ability to play games anywhere was still such a new idea that a Switch port of RiME would be well worth the wait. After all, this didn't appear to be some technical juggernaut. It didn't seem that it would be any more demanding than Zelda, a game with a similar art style, for example. But when it finally came to the Switch, RiME was a mess. The Switch port of RiME is a tale of two games almost. There is the version of the game that was initially released, and then several months later, a performance patch was pushed out. I experienced it for the very first time prior to that game-saving patch. The cracks of that long, difficult development really showed in the initial Switch port of RiME. On other consoles, the power they have was used to simply apply brute force to overcome performance issues. That power overhead simply does not exist on the Switch. It is clear that this port still needed significant additional development time when it was released in November of 2017. At release, it was nearly unplayable. Docked performance was just barely good enough to get through the game. In smaller confined areas, resolution and performance were much better, but it was never solid, and there were still times when it became a slideshow with frame rates easily in the single digits. On one occasion, it stuttered so badly that I thought the game froze. But, as I said, months later, a performance patch for the game was released. I don't want to say that the improvements that they made are a miracle, as the game still has some performance issues for sure, but it really is a night and day difference from how it originally released. Even portable mode is much better, and went from a stuttering, blurry mess to a pretty decent experience. Later levels in the game run perfectly fine and even look close to native resolution on the Switch's screen. RiME is a beautiful game with an amazing heart-wrenching story that hit me emotionally in a way that no other game has in a very, very long time. Further, it has one of the best soundtracks of any game I've ever played. No hyperbole there. Listen for yourself. The soundtrack here is beautiful and relaxing. I listen to the music from RiME at least once every few weeks. RiME on the Switch, in its current state, is almost a redemption story. When it first released, the reception to the port was uniformly negative. You can see evidence of this on Metacritic, where the Switch version scores nearly 20 points lower than the Xbox or PlayStation 4 version of the game. Now, you can in good conscience buy and play RiME on the Switch. And honestly, the ending to this game will stick with you for a long time. In my opinion, you need to find a way to experience this beautiful game.